When it comes to Valentine's Day, the thought of commercialized cards, roses and boxes of mediocre chocolates aren't the most appealing. But it's got me deep in thought. It can't have always been this way. I've called into Beamish Museum to meet one of the historians here and find out just how much Valentine's Day has evolved. Rosie, just tell me a bit about kind of how Valentine's has evolved in recent years.
So in the Georgian period is when you start to get your first Valentine's cards, just towards the end of the Georgian period. And from then on they were quite popular during the Victorian period, and you get some very, very fancy ones indeed.
I was going to say these are more detailed than you see now, isn't it? Rather than just your £1 cards out of the supermarket. You know, these must have taken ages to make.
Yes, I think so. I think the first one had several different panels, and it was made by the maker for his wife and had lots of flaps you can lift up and things. But yeah, so they were starting to become much more commercially available. But then you start to get things called anti-Valentine's cards. Unfortunately, we don't have any at Beamish. I really wish we did. But they're quite cruel. They're sort of a bit of a pastiche on Valentine's cards, and they send sort of cruel little messages. And when they started to become a bit popular, and Valentine's Day was sort of associated with a little bit nasty, I'd say. So popularity in Valentine's cards started to dwindle a little bit.
So what on earth is this? It looks like a bookmark or something, am I wrong?
Bookmark, a big stick. It's called a stay busk, and it has been hand carved by its maker, TC, whoever he is. And a stay busk actually goes down the front of your corset. This one's one of the latest ones we've got. It's much simpler than the Victorian ones. It's just been printed. I've got a little message on the outside, and then someone's written in the inside. Won't you think it over, please?
What kind of activities would people have done back then? Because there was no going to the Odeon to watch Fast and Furious 200. What would you have went and done then?
One thing I've been learning about from our oral history collection recently actually is something called the chicken run, which I think was only really in working class communities. It sounds a bit mad, but essentially it would be a street in maybe the local high street, something like that, and groups of girls and boys, but sort of gender divided, would basically parade up and down the street in gaggles, giggling and flirting, making eye contact, that kind of thing. And it would just be a way that many working class people would actually meet their future partner.
Like a historical Tinder, but that takes a lot longer.
I suppose so, yes. Tinder stroke Love Island, yeah.
Well, from chocolates to chicken runs, things have certainly evolved in the last 100 years. But I think for me, well, I'm not fussy. A box of chocolates, a bottle of wine, that'll do me nicely. Will Fox for North East Live in Beamish.